Mr. Sinister has been defeated and his dark and twisted timeline brought to an end, but oh, the fallout that will be hitting Krakoa very soon. Want to know what happens next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Immortal X Men issue number 11, the penultimate issue of this series, and find out, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the Sins of Sinister Dominion had left off, four of the most powerful and prominent members of the Quiet Council, Xavier, Hope, Exodus, and Emma Frost, were forced to step down from their posts after it came to light thanks to information from this alternate future brought back in time via Rasputin 4 and Mother Righteous revealed that all of these members' own DNA had been tainted by special Sinister sleeper genes that would take over them and allow Sinister to in turn take over the world for the next 1,000 years. The council members had willingly agreed to be imprisoned in the tree for their safety and the safety of the whole island. Now Storm believes her and Forge have found a way to cure this gene problem, but already things are starting to get a little weird. Storm is being pretty curt and pretty rough with the other members of the council. I'll also spare you the big long Forge techno-babble explanation as to why no one had ever seen these tainted Sinister genes before and how they're only able to get rid of them now. All you need to know is that there is an answer and the procedure ends up going off without a hitch. Only here's the thing though, even though these members of the council have been cleared, Storm says that there's really no way to know for certain if these Sinister genes could ever come back or if they're truly gone, and that perhaps the only way to combat this is to agree to brand new sweeping changes in power, ones that, hey, wouldn't you know it just so happened to make Storm top dog in Krakoa. Yes, while they don't 100% come out and say it, what we might very well have seen here is one giant coup on behalf of Aurora Monroe. And I mean, really, it's not like the other members of the Quiet Council exactly have a foot to stand on morally right now when it comes to Storm seizing power, thanks to Rasputin 4 and Mother Righteous. They've seen the dark, sinister future. They've seen their worst, most horrible crimes come to life, and some of them, even Xavier agrees that, yeah, we probably shouldn't be on the council. Now, it's not like Storm is firing them. They'll keep showing up to meetings in order to keep up appearances. After all, Krakoa needs to show that they're strong and resolute. They can't just fire a bunch of their original Quiet Council members. Moving forward, they just won't be able to vote now on legislation, meaning that Storm and the few other members who still are on the council's votes just became a lot more powerful. This isn't the only way Storm is cleaning house either, as she also has to have a little reckoning with Irene Adler Destiny. Hey, Future Teller, why didn't you warn us about any of this? We know you knew more about Essex's plan than anyone. How do we know we can still trust you moving forward? The answer is you could probably never have trusted Destiny to begin with, but Irene is pretty damn slick on giving excuses. Oh, you know, the Moira clones made it difficult because history was constantly changing. I didn't want to push Sinister too hard lest he restart the timeline again. And admittedly, Storm knows full well that these are half-truths said in order to protect the full truth, which is actually that Destiny did all of this to try and protect the love of her life, Mystique. As in, the Sinister future, terrible though it was the only future wherein Mystique stayed alive longer than any other. Now, I know what you're thinking, surely if Mystique was to learn this little revelation, it would be absolutely devastating for her. Destiny isn't going to tell her, but Mother Righteous, who is making her own power plays right now, actually does. You gotta wonder how a sociopath like Mystique is going to react to finding out that her wife willingly sacrificed the whole universe for just a couple more years with her. By far, though, the biggest bit of bad blood following Sins of Sinister is actually between Hope and Exodus. Keep in mind, Hope saw in that dark future Exodus, the man who claimed to be her knight, her apostle, killed her and took control of her mutant religion. It's made abundantly clear that these two may very well never patch things up, though Exodus does offer to do all sorts of religious self-flagellation if it'll make a difference. Once again, Storm has to be the adult in the room, stepping on in and getting these two to stop fighting. The Quiet Council has to continue to show a strong, resolute face to the rest of Krakoa, and having the leader of the Five doing happy slaps with this paladin in the middle of the street in broad daylight doesn't do any of that. Now, while all the other members of the Quiet Council basically have to grin and bear this brand new status quo, not everyone is afraid to tell Storm to her face exactly how they feel, like Emma Frost. Emma questions Storm's loyalty to the island home of mutant kind, especially considering that the Iraq essentially treat her like a living deity who can do no wrong, a fact of which only became stronger as time went on in the Sinister future. Also, speaking of the Sinister future, in that timeline, Storm sure did seem way more interested in taking care of affairs on Mars before dealing with the rest of mutant kind, and even then, when push came to shove, she wasn't the one who actually reset reset time. Emma also says that taking away her power and publicly shaming her isn't really gonna do anything to try and slow her down. She was a former villain in the Hellfire Club. She knows all too much about shame. And hey, speaking of the Hellfire Club, what about Sebastian Shaw? He's been surprisingly quiet up until now, and we know from reading the other books he was actually already in cahoots with Mother Righteous before she made her appearance to the rest of the council. As far as Shaw himself is concerned, all of this is the beginning of the end for Krakoa and the Quiet Council, and he just wants to be sure that when everything is said and done, Righteous will allow him to plunder the island's riches in exchange for his loyal service. Oh, Sebastian Shaw, a dishonest man who you can always trust to be dishonest, honestly. Now, ultimately, Emma's words do serve to cut to the core of Storm. Maybe she is being pulled between two different worlds right now. Maybe she can't be 100% trusted to cast important votes with the Quiet Council if she's busy running an entire planet. Because of that, she decides to give her power over to a brand new proxy. A strong, loyal, and compassionate person who she can trust. Someone like, oh, I don't know, Colossus. Someone who's definitely not a secret Russian sleeper agent. And it's on that note right there the comic comes to a close, everyone. So that was Immortal X Men issue number 11. And I gotta say, this is a really damn good fallout for Sins of Sinister. I like that they actually make quick work of the whole Sinister Jean subplot. Yeah, that's done, that's over with, but we're still going to have to deal with the ramifications of it. I mean, it's certainly not like those four characters were just gonna spend all their time in the tree moving forward. We've seen them in solicitations for other stuff, and it would be pretty boring if we just lost them. One of the things I think we can all admit has been really awesome about the Krakoan era of X-Men comics is how the power structure was always shifting and changing every couple of years, from Moira being the secret power behind the throne, to the Council trying to secure their own power, to Emma and a bunch of the others having their own secret backroom deals to amass war chests for themselves, to Storm swooping on here and now to basically become the queen of two nations. You also have to wonder, would Storm have always risen to the occasion like this, and basically lead a soft coup against the other members of the Quiet Council, or was it only seeing the kind of awe-inspiring space god she became in the Sinister future and the goading from Mother Righteous that really put her over the top and convinced her to do all of this stuff? And also, what's gonna happen when Storm realizes that she's basically been played by Righteous? I know we're going to be entering the fall of X very soon. In fact, the first book in the prologue to that came out this week, and I don't know how I thought the island nation of Krakoa would unravel, but it certainly wasn't like this. I also gotta wonder, with one issue left, how is this Kieran Gillen era of X-Men going to come to a close? And if so, what's the next big book we're all gonna have to read if we really, really want to know what's going on with X-Men and how it feeds into the next big events? Overall, I'd give this one a very solid 8 out of 10. It had me on the edge of my seat, which is impressive considering that most of this book is just people talking to each other.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way, everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.